What's up, everybody? This is Henry Fleischer here from the Cannabis Dispatch, also the CBD Business Networking Group on Facebook, and I have a very special guest today. I have Jonathan Spaniel of QBR Cannabinoids. So, John, tell us a little bit about QBR Cannabinoids.
Well, first off, Henry, thank you so much for the opportunity for this interview, man. I love everything that you're doing with CBD Business Networking. It's definitely something that it just needs to happen in this industry. As you know better than anybody, there is not a lot of standardization in this industry or a level of professionalism that has been set. And one of the biggest things when I came into this after working in the industry, I decided that QBR Cannabinoids would be one of the companies that helps set that standard for both professionalism and just doing what's right.
Oh, of course. What was that aha moment where it's like, hey, I got to start QBR Cannabinoids?
All right, well, a little backstory on me. I am a professional cinematographer. I have been working in action sports and cannabis for over 10 years now. I worked with a couple different companies over the last 3 years, and I don't, say anything personal opinions on stuff like that, but basically things weren't being done the way they should be done. And it was to the point where it was pushing me out of the industry because when I first got into it, I got into this to help people. I saw firsthand what CBD was doing for veterans, for kids with epilepsy, you name it. The list keeps going. But as I got more and more involved in the industry, the word corporate started to get involved. And unfortunately, at least for me, that word will never be involved in QBR cannabinoids because all I saw firsthand when the word corporate comes into cannabis, it just means greed, shystiness, unethical business behavior, things that I do not want to affiliate with, nor do I want my company affiliating with.
Oh, of course. What was that first moment where you were like, hey, I want to get into CBD or cannabis?
Well, I've always wanted to get into cannabis. Out in Colorado, that's a ship that sailed 8 years ago. Now it's so insanely expensive to get into it. It's almost impossible. But 3 years ago, I was running my action sports media company, Fantastic, and a guy who was starting a hemp business here reached out to me about doing it. I, at the time, honestly had no interest in working with CBD. At the time, I thought it was snake oil. I thought people were just selling this as a get-rich-quick scheme. I didn't believe in it. It wasn't really until I did my first testimonial video with a kid whose parents had actually left, I believe it was Missouri, and we did some videos of him having seizures and the CBD oil curing him almost instantly. At that point, that's when I knew, okay, I want to be in this, not just, the money is good always, but I got into this because I wanted to help people. And when I saw that what this plant could do to help people is really when I got interested.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome to hear. So I know you started QBR Cannabinoids and you're opening up a dispensary. That's correct, right?
Yeah, QBR Cannabinoids was something that actually happened through a Facebook group that I started last year called Quarantined Bong Rips. It was just something we did during quarantine to entertain ourselves. And then at the beginning of this year, I had a friend who is an extraction artist here in Colorado, and he basically called me up. I've known about Delta 8 and all the different stuff since last year, but with Delta 8, I was wary because I had seen companies that basically, like I say all the time, they're putting profits before their patients. They weren't doing things the right way. My first experience with Delta 8, I got sick for 3 days. I'm not going to throw what company that did it under the bus, but let's just say they are one of the biggest in the industry now. And I've heard this about them continuing to this day. So my main thing is I don't care if I'm going to make more. It's not about that. It's about providing something for people who can't get it. Like all of my clients in Texas right now, this is all they can get, dude. I have, especially older folks, they do not want to be criminals. And you should not have to be a criminal just because you want to use cannabis. Unfortunately, that's their only option in the state of Texas. So that's what I'm going to continue to do, is provide these options where people don't have them.
Oh, of course. Yeah, Texas, because Texas's neighbors, Oklahoma, have a huge program right now for
as you mentioned earlier, I actually, the QBR brand is not very old. QBR itself has been around for a little over a year, but it didn't actually become, I didn't know what I was going to do with it until about 4 months ago. The QBR Cannabinoids has only been a company since March 3rd, 2021. So we are very, very, very young. But as you can tell, we are doing things at a different level than most because of A, my experience in the industry and my experience in marketing branding, but B, just the idea that we're doing this for the people who need it as opposed to, for the dollar signs.
Oh,
because I saw it with the other companies I worked for. At the beginning, it's always like this. Everyone's always like, yeah, we want to help people. It's all for that. Then all of a sudden you start seeing those zeros stack up at the end. And the original reason everyone got into it goes right out the window. Like with QBR Cannabinoids, even though we've only been around for a very short amount of time, I myself have been in this industry for over 4 years. And we are going to be one of the companies that outlasts the ones that are here, the fly-by-nighters that are just interested in the dollars and cents. We're going to be here long after that because I believe in the full longevity of the plant. I believe that I'm a believer in the entourage effect. I'm a believer in terpenes. I'm a believer in every single cannabinoid playing its part into you living a better life day to day and a longer and happier life.
Of course. Oh, you mentioned too with like some other brands out there, not everybody goes through the whole process of getting the COAs, finding the right sources.
You know what, brother? It's funny because when I got into this 2-3 years ago, the QR code thing that I showed you on ours, these guys, that was the creme de la creme. There was like, this is top notch. And so I just assumed by now, 2-3 years later, everybody would have implemented this system. When I was down in Texas for the first 2 months getting QBR kicked off, you're talking maybe 40% of the products on shelves had QR codes at all. And then it's like another, maybe out of that 40%, 10% of those QR codes actually worked and went back to real COAs, which I know in Colorado, the standardization is there, but as I go to these states that are, just getting into Delta 8 now and different they just have no idea about this stuff. It's the wild, wild west. And it terrifies me, Henry, because without that analysis, you have no idea what you're putting in your body. It very much can make you sick. These are supposed to be made at a much higher level than people are kind of giving it credit for. When I was down in Texas, I had a guy that was alcohol distilling Delta 8 out the back of his shop. And he wanted to argue with me saying that our products were the same. Yeah. And on top of that, he wasn't testing his alcohol distilled Delta 8 carts. It just is disgusting. And to a degree, I will say it's a little bit of ignorance. He didn't know. But if you're going to get into this space, you have to understand that you are getting into this to help people and make their lives better. You don't want to be making them sick. You're just literally running in circles.
Of course. Even too, if you're at a gas station too, you see CBD, you probably don't buy it.
Oh, brother, back in the day when I was working for the other companies that I used to work for, we'd go buy some of that gas station CBD and send it to our labs for a third-party test. Say 1,000 milligrams, maybe 12, 13 milligrams of CBD at all. And here's a great story, brother. My first experience in CBD, I had ended my company. I'd gone over to this new company. First day I show up, they buy $400,000 of CBD isolate. It's all sugar.
What?
$400,000, 75 kilos. This is in 2018.
Yeah.
$400,000 of sugar shows up. Send it off to the test. It's all sucrose. So I try to tell everybody that, because I worked in cannabis as well. I used to work for High Times and Challenge filming their events.
Yeah.
Everybody in CBD currently had, well, at least about a year and a half ago, we vetted a lot out, but about 2 years ago, all the snakes from cannabis who had all been worked out of that had just moved over and done the same scams and scandals in hemp.
That's absurd. Sugar, $400,000 worth of sugar?
Brother, $400,000. And my buddy that has it still has it sitting at his house as a reminder of the biggest, the most expensive sugar he's ever bought.
It's it's crazy. You hear all these stories, and I think that might.
Well, if you think about it, at that time period, that was federal wire fraud, and the people who are responsible have had nothing happen to them.
Oh, nothing.
Nothing. And brother, you would have no idea. I tell everybody in this space, listen, learn, and be quiet. One thing in this industry that I know over anybody is that the people that are the loudest online are usually doing nothing. So take everything that's said by everybody with a grain of salt. Even if you see someone on a blacklist page, I've seen hemp blacklist pages where the guy running the page should have been blacklisted.
Oh, wow.
So, like, just, you got to keep your head on the swivel in this industry, man, especially with the giant bubble burst that we had. Because I don't know if you're aware of how it went down. 2018, when the Farm Bill passed, everybody came in on the gold rush thinking they're approaching farmers like, I'm going to sell you seeds. You're going to make $50,000 an acre. Because in 2018, with the limited amount of hemp that was grown, it was going for that, right? Well, all of these basically consultants, brokers, hemp bros, that's what we call them. We call them hemp bros. You know, they always show up in like a fucking $5,000 suit to a hemp farming convention. You're like, what are you doing? But anyway, so those guys came in, they found mom and pop farms that were struggling, you know, maybe making $400 or $500 an acre growing lima beans. It came along and was like, hey, I'm going to sell you these seeds at as high as $2 a seed. I remember in 2018, I saw Feminized Genetics going $2 a seed. Coming into 2018, I think it was over 20 million acres of hemp was planted, right?
Yep.
With all these people selling this pipe dream. Well, we come to find out at the end of 2019, all you needed to supply the entire CBD market, hemp growing wise, it was like less than 1 million acres.
Oh, damn.
Less than 1 million acres is what we needed. The country grew 20 million. So all of these farmers who had put all this money, whatever money they had into these crops, being told by these people that this is all gonna, you know, be amazing and you're gonna be rich, nobody needed it. 2019, there are people, there are farmers I know that still have their 2019 crop and they're just trying to give it away because there's nothing else they can do with it.
Oh yeah, that's another. I've heard other stories like that where they're sitting on that crop that's just collecting dust.
The only way I would tell people up and down when people, because they come to me all the time, especially with all the videos and stuff I made to promote it. When they talk about farming hemp, I say 1 acre. That's what you start. You start with 1 acre and you learn how to baby and tend that field to where you have some of the most beautiful plants you ever, and then that way you learn the craft, but you're not out hundreds of thousands of dollars when it comes time. Drying an acre of hemp can be done in a normal barn. Like, most farmers have the capability to grow 1 to 2 acres of hemp without spending the insane amounts of money. I actually have guys right now that will give you the seed if you're just willing to put it in the ground and grow it. Mm-hmm. But I tell everybody, it is not this gold rush that it was 2 years ago. I am telling people, don't grow unless you really, really want to, or you really, really have time, money, and all sorts of excess to deal with. Because otherwise, hemp ain't easy, bro.
Oh, no. It's like kind of like starting a business, too. People think, oh, you need a lot of capital to get it going, but you really don't. You couldn't like.
You did initially with the way everyone was trying to do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, hindsight's 20/20, and now we figured out there is no need because dude, you know, in 2018 when I didn't even get into this intentionally, it was just kind of accident, and then I started throwing out the numbers that I'm hearing to my people that I know, investors, and they were flying off. You couldn't see them salivating with the numbers that were presented, all of them, but it was a promise that couldn't be delivered on. The only way hemp farming is sustainable is being fully vertically integrated. That means from providing your own genetics, that means to having your own farm, that means to having your own extraction facility. The dirty little secret of hemp that a lot of people don't want to talk about right now is the labs are just, I hate to use the word raping, but they are raping the farmers right now. Literally, I've seen Delta 8 products where the labs will be like, meh, just make me an offer, meaning that they took biomass from a farmer and did probably a split that was so ridiculous where the farmer almost got nothing, like 20/80. So the lab can literally just be like, this is all pure profit. And I've seen it up close and personal more times than I can count, brother, from almost every lab you run into. I've been personally myself trying to find somebody that's kind of doing the same thing as we are at that level. Thankfully, I might have found somebody in Oklahoma when I get myself out there.
Oh, nice. So I know too, because you just started QBR Cannabinoids. So like, what's been the most challenging thing you've had to face so far?
I mean, I'm blessed because one of the biggest parts of the industry is my job, marketing. I've seen terrible brands do very well with good marketing, with terrible products. And I've seen great products with terrible branding do well. I'm just blessed that through my circle of people, I had somebody create a line of products that I would actually put my name on. Then yes, I had the experience of creating the branding. That's why we're going faster than most, because I know what I'm doing on that sense. But I'm not here to just do it for myself. I actually offer my services for anybody in the hemp industry. I'm a consultant when it comes to marketing and branding in all aspects, because there is too much money to be made in this industry for people to be acting fucking greedy and shisty. There's no reason.
No, it's very, very true.
This is my analogy that I tell people all the time, right? So here's the hemp industry. It's our giant pie, right? It's all drawn out, cut out, this, and everyone's got their little piece. The problem is the major players that should be leading the way in this industry would rather fight and squabble amongst each other and try to take a little piece of someone else's pie instead of just growing the pie as a whole, and everyone's respective slice grows with it.
Oh, yeah, I hear you on that. And
greed, unfortunately, is a big it's a big obstacle in any industry, but especially in an industry like cannabis, where the people who laid the foundation and the groundwork for this industry are the guys who were growing in basements, the guys who were ducking the cops, you know? So we are spitting in the face of the people who started all this when we act this way, when we act greedy, when we make self-centered actions. Because cannabis as a plant is not about that. Cannabis as a plant is about healing. It's about community. It's about bringing people together and healing people. So when you get away from those core values of the plant, that's when you start to see it fall apart.
oh, of course. So I'm curious too, like how have your past experiences before, like as a cinematographer and then even working for other brands, prepare you for this role?
Well, a good friend of mine, Henry, told me a saying, and I love to repeat. It says, all life lessons cost something. So if you get one for free, pay attention. I, working in the industry for those companies, basically got a paid internship, more or less, to see all of the mistakes that I don't need to make. Right now, we have if we wanted to, if I really wanted to just let QBR cannabinoids off the leash, I don't even want to know how big it would get, how quick. But the key is, it doesn't matter how big we get. One of the companies that I used to work for, we got really big, really quick. Hold on. My husky is talking. We got big quick, but then we spent the next year fumbling over ourselves trying to actually execute on what we had advertised. There's a reason that I haven't let this off the leash yet, because I'm one man, bro. It took me, I think, almost 5 days to get the orders that I have out right now. And in reality, it's not that much. It's like maybe 12, 13 ounces of product. And it took me that long by myself. So now I'm focusing on logistics. We're getting a fulfillment center. We're adding a whole new level of products to our line. But I'm not letting it off the leash until I know we can fulfill every single thing that I'm saying we're doing. Because when I put my name on something, that's how it is. I personally, dude, I never even had to write contracts until I got into this space. I'm a man of my word. I'll shake your hand. That's it. This space is the first time where I had to learn to write contracts, not even to protect anyone. I had to protect me.
Oh yeah,
I'm used to being able to do something. I shake your hand. That's it. But not everybody is like me.
I know.
Space.
I wish it was all that simple, but yeah, you gotta have that.
It should be, unfortunately, Henry. But we as humans like to complicate things.
Oh yeah, of course. And going back, you mentioned a little bit about transportation as well too with the product. So like, who are using a specific company that specializes in cannabis transportation?
So right now, we have been working with a lab that I started with through our Cannabros. If you know who they are one of our affiliate companies. I do a lot of their marketing and branding as well. But again, we're just not happy with everything at the end of the day, because nobody wants to do things the way you're supposed to. And again, that includes having logistics, having transparency. Like the QBR Cannabinoids motto is purity, potency, transparency. Transparency being the most important of those, because I've learned in this space, when you talk to somebody and they want to play their cards close to the chest, there's usually not a good reason that they're doing that. This is an industry that should be open in all aspects. You know, I try to help people for no cost. People hit me up every day. I call myself a connector of humans. I try to just help because with no intention of making money, I know karma will bring it back to me one day.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's what everyone in this industry needs to understand, that if you just do things the right way, if you don't focus on personal gains and you don't focus on, I don't know what the right word would be, just self-absorption. If you focus on the reason that we got into this, at least for me and most people I know, is we want to help people. I've been a cannabis user since I was 13 years old, dude. I was on Adderall to wake up, 2 antidepressants during the day, Xanax to go to sleep. And these are what Texas doctors are prescribing a fucking 13-year-old. And then, and then I found weed at 14, never went back. Didn't even have a thought. After like the first fucking joint, I was like, yep, I'm doing this forever.
Oh, nice.
This is so much better than any. I felt like a zombie when I was literally on meth, antidepressants, and Xanax to go to sleep. Like, who the fuck gives that to a 13-year-old?
No, it's like that's like because they have like the doctors need to make money though, and it's like,
oh yeah, and again, you look, that's why cannabis has dealt with what it has dealt with over the years. I mean, you go back to the 40s, we had hemp on every single U.S. warship in World War II. Right after 1945, when they figured out hemp was poised to take over the lumber industry, the oil industry, all that, that's when all of a sudden you get the, they're smoking the devil's lettuce in the jazz bars and blah, 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 blah. That's when all of a sudden a lot of people don't even understand the history of why cannabis is even illegal in the first place.
Oh, it's greed. All about, it was William Randolph Hearst.
Yeah, 100%. I tell everybody, if you want to see where hemp should have been, watch Hemp for Victory. It's actually a pro-hemp, U.S.-sponsored propaganda film about hemp helping us win in World War II.
Oh, I gotta have that on the watch list now.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna just I'm gonna go find it. I know I ripped a copy of it. I'm just gonna post it up on QBR Cannabinoids because half the reason I'm here, brother, aside from being able to get products to people that normally can't get them, is education. There's so much education that needs to be done in this. The reason that a lot of the companies that I used to work for got so big so fast is because we were putting out free educational content. Unfortunately, I didn't know what my content was being used for at the time.
I think that's one big issue too, because the mass populace is not educated about the benefits of cannabinoids. They don't know. They don't even know it's a cannabinoid system.
So we're working on some stuff out in Oklahoma right now that I'm very excited about, that are going to be isolations of individual cannabinoids and terpenes with the idea of addressing specific ailments to attack. Certain terpenes are very good with anxiety, with stress. So we're looking at blends of those terpenes with certain cannabinoids to create natural anti-anxiety meds. So you don't have to go take a Xanax and feel like you're a zombie. So you can feel that pressure lifted off your shoulder, but not feel like you're drugged. Because at the end of the day, our bodies have a natural endocannabinoid system in it. All mammals do, every single one. We used to actually get our cannabinoids from the animals that we ate that were eating hemp wild in the field. And I know this might sound a little conspiracy theory, but if you look at the rates of cancer in this country and how much they shot off after the ban against cannabis, you start to see how much we really needed those cannabinoids in our day-to-day life.
Oh, of course. There's a whole big story behind that. I'm not going to get into it now about with the cancer cases going up, but that part of it is like some of the pills, though.
I can tell you, I've met more people here in Colorado, and I even met a couple in Oklahoma just during my short trip that are truly, they're medical refugees in their state and have cured cancer multiple times with Rick Simpson oil, with blends of cannabinoids. I've seen it myself, dude. And so I'm one of those people. How many times you got to see something before you figure it out? Like, there's only so many times you can call it a coincidence or a fluke or whatever. And I know personally that will be how I will be attacking any ailments that I have.
For you personally to be on all those medications and then to take one product that eliminated it all, Tells you everything.
And again, brother, I'm 13 years old smoking the ditchweed over the Mexican border. Like the shit that I started out with, you'd pick the seeds and stems and it was bad. But even that was still better than any pharmaceutical that I had been given.
Yeah, I think too, even when you're starting off with cannabis, you don't know like what you're smoking. You don't know if it's an indica, sativa. You don't know.
No, and you know, I even think about that a lot too, man. It's not that I'm against younger people using cannabis, but we can't pretend anymore that we're not genetically manipulating cannabis to a level that it was not meant to be naturally. So like, no, I don't think a 16-year-old kid needs to be smoking concentrates. Like, no, I think that could actually lead to developmental issues. I will even say with the amount of cannabis that I consume, sometimes I'm like, God damn, I just can't remember anything right now.
Oh yeah.
I feel like just like alcohol, it needs to be, unless you medically need it, it needs to be one of those things that comes with time. And plus, I tell every kid out there, dude, don't rush. You know how much it sucks being 30 years old and then you'll have your friend who's like 26 and they just started smoking when they're like 24 and they're sitting there zooted off 2 puffs and you're over here on like your 5th bowl trying to catch up to where they are and you're just like kind of mad because you can't giggle like they are. There's no rush in it. There's never any rush. Yeah, I try to tell everybody. The one thing I just want to get rid of is the negative stigma that comes with it.
Oh, of course. So would you say that's the toughest part about being in this business this year, still to get that stigma away?
I mean, all right. So I realize that I'm a little blessed when it comes to my people skills, personal ability and stuff. I got lucky on that end. My mom's a communications professor. So for me, it has not been that hard because if I can get in front of somebody, it doesn't matter how much of a skeptic, and talk to them and show them, I can usually change their mind. When I got down to Texas, Delta 8 had the worst stigma I've ever seen. Like, I'd mention Delta 8, they'd be like, no, that makes you sick. I'm like, no, it's not supposed to. And then I'd show them my products and I'd show them the alternative. But what they're used to is that brown soup being stuffed into carts, the same stuff that made me sick a year ago. You know what I mean? Dude, I was sick for 2 full days after ripping this cart maybe 3-4 times.
Oh, damn.
It was the worst feeling ever. And that's why I personally was anti-Delta 8. Originally I was like, no, this is garbage. That's why I had the opportunity to do something like this last year at the beginning of pandemic and everything. I chose not to because I wouldn't put my name on something like that. Mm-hmm. Now that I have real, QBR Cannabinoids is on a whole different level now. Now we're actually providing stuff that I smoke every single day. But never in my life would I sell something that I personally would not put into my own body.
Yeah. So for your product too, like after you're smoking that Delta 8, how long does it take to feel the effects and how long does it last?
So vaporization is what my recommendation is going to be for our products, which would be dabbing, vaporizing in a pen, whatever, Pupco, however you want to ingest it. I have heard different takes on this. Take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. I personally do not feel the effects of hemp-derived terpenes being added back into Delta 8. I've had people tell me they experience indica or sativa effects. I personally do not. The only thing that I see the terpenes for when it comes to these and the way they affect me is the taste and the flavor. That's why we add them, But at the end of the day, Delta 8 is Delta 8. It's not like its cousin Delta 9 that can go because what creates the sativa or indica effect is the naturally occurring terpenes in that plant, right? Yep. So when you just extract Delta 8 out of hemp and then you take, all right, we want some limonene here, we want some pinene here. I personally haven't felt different experiences. When I vaporize it, I get the euphoric, uplifting high without that overwhelming sense of like, oh shit, I'm too high, or how long is that car been parked there, or that anxiety or paranoia. I get that on Delta 9. And I live here in Colorado, so when people are like, oh, you're just saying that because you want to sell it. No, dude, I can go get the real stuff. There's 15 dispensaries from my house right here. I don't like it. My body doesn't handle it right. And so many people that I've met and I'm starting to discover are using it for the exact same reason. Do I still use Delta 9 THC? Yes, at night. I use pure indicas to put myself down at night, but that's it. I can't do a Delta 9 indica all day. All I'm going to do is sit on the couch, play Call of Duty, and order Chinese food. I know how I am on it.
Oh, see, I can't do like it's hard to function on THC during the day. It's a nighttime thing.
People say they can on the Delta 9 sativas, which is great if they can, but
Yeah.
I can't. Dude, the last time I was like 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, I finally like tried it again. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a sativa Delta 9 dab just to see if I'm bullshitting myself. Did the dab, had to go lay in bed for over an hour, just like balled up until it went away.
Oh, damn.
It was the worst. And so then on the opposite side with the Delta 8, when I consume it, when I eat it, that's when I get the indica level effects. Like we have a sauce we're working on right now that's going to be over 1,000 milligrams. And I was beta testing it about a month and a half ago. Bro, I looked like Forrest Whitaker. Like one eye was like here and the other one. Yeah. And then I went and ate a whole box of Captain Crunch.
Oh, damn. Also,
Yeah. But,
oh,
and that's one thing for someone like me, right, who's
yeah.
been a Delta 9 user since I was a kid. Delta 8, I have not taken. So it's still like, I have to take 300-400 milligrams of Delta 9 to hit me. I can take 100 milligrams of Delta 8 and feel like a similar effect. Because my body doesn't have the natural tolerance to Delta 8 yet, whereas it's had Delta 9 my whole life.
Oh, got it. I think one thing you touched on too, so you're creating sauces as well too. What other types of edibles for the Delta 8?
Oh, buddy, we got some really exciting stuff with our new partnership and our fulfillment. We're going to have Delta 8 honey sticks. We're working on Delta 8 pain rub, Oreos, Sour Patch Kids. Our edible line is going to be one of the most expansive in the industry. Right now, we just have our vegan 25 milligram Delta 8 gummies. But again, this was all 4 months ago when all this started. Like, if this is where we can get in 4 or 5 months, just wait to where you'll see us a year from now.
Oh, well, yeah, because like I know, because on the market it has a lot of like gummies and candies and stuff like that. I think the savory market would be a good addition too.
Well, I tell people up and down, like, again, marketing. People don't believe that we're a 4-month-old company because of our marketing and our branding. When they watch our videos, they're like, there's no way this company has only been around for. And then when they find out it's just me, that shocks them even more.
Yeah, I think that video you posted in the group, it was like the music was done really well. It was just like videos, shots were great. It was like, whoa.
Oh, you're talking about the I think it's Welcome to QBR Cannabinoids.
Yeah.
Yes, please. I did post that in the CBD Business Networking. You are free. Feel free to go watch it, and then of course check out QBRCannabinoids.com. We actually just got that up and running last week. Unfortunately, our credit card processing was shut down the same day. Go figure. But we have our wholesale contact information on there. You can see all of our products, and we will have our new payment processor before the end of the month. That is actually why I reached out and I'm bringing in my mentor and some other people into the company to help me with this expansion and logistics. Because at the end of the day, that's just not where my experience is. My experience is in the marketing, branding, obviously the love of the plant. I'm very knowledgeable in that. And I'm also just the guy who likes to have a fun time.
Yeah. So you did find a payment processor?
We have found one right now, but we're gonna have to rebuild the site from the ground up around the new payment processor.
Oh, damn. Well, about two.
Yeah.
Have you had any issues with banks yet?
We have not yet. We have. I will tell everybody if you're interested in hemp. This is a national bank, Security Service Federal Credit Union. They are very pro hemp, pro cannabis, and we have had zero issues with them. Our only issues have been with the processors themselves. We're already shut down on PayPal, already shut down on Venmo. Stripe was the payment processor that we had before. They shut us down same day. We're still working with Square, but I've heard 50-50 with them. It can go one way or the other, but Square does not offer the internet payment processing. They're a in-person processor.
Yeah, I know. I've heard stories of PayPal shutting people down though, so it's not like
and they're owned by the same company. It wasn't a matter of if, it was just a matter of when was that going to get shut down.
Yeah. Hopefully
we didn't have any money sitting there in limbo trying to transfer when it got shut down. We had just dumped all the money.
I think for like those companies, that's a missed opportunity for them because like as soon as like the federally legal, there's going to be a lot of more opportunity.
Oh, it makes me laugh how anti-cannabis some of these companies are going to be, and then once federal legalization starts, they're going to be the first ones. Like it's kind of like during Pride Month when all these companies are all of a sudden pro LGBTQ, but it's like during the entire year they're not like that. That's going to be these companies. They're going to like lobby against cannabis this whole time, and then it'll go federally legal, and all of a sudden they're like, "Ooh, 420, we love cannabis."
Yeah, I know some of those like the big companies too will start to have their own cannabis products, but they're not going to be as good as the people who are.
I forgot his name. A buddy of mine was just telling me about him. He's this, of course, some old white dude who spent his entire political career demonizing and trying to criminalize cannabis, and now he's on one of the highest boards of cannabis oversight in the country. Like,
yeah,
the whole thing makes zero sense. The same way we have, people. I have friends. I have someone who just told me 2 days ago he just caught a felony for concentrates in Kansas. And we have people who are simultaneously making millions of dollars off cannabis. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's not a criminal for possessing that.
In Texas, Kansas, all those places.
In those places, it shouldn't be a criminal offense.
It shouldn't be a criminal offense, but at the end of the day, you got to remember we have police unions, pharmaceuticals, alcohol. These are companies that do not want cannabis to be legalized because the cops will lose their money. That's all they're funding. Nonviolent people sitting in jail. Cannabis people will stop using big pharma. They will not need all this excessive pills that they're being prescribed once you have a plant that cures it all. And then, of course, alcohol, because it's been proven in every state where it's made legal medically or recreationally that alcohol sales plummet.
Very true.
Those are like, people act like it, like, why is it not legal? What about the people? Because we live in a corporate wasteland called America that allows people to write blank checks to write the laws. That's why we're at where we're at.
Oh, of course. So, yeah, another thing too, like if somebody was to choose between QBR Cannabinoids and 3 other businesses just like that, why'd you suggest they give you a try first?
If you're wondering why you want to try QBR Cannabinoids over anyone else, I'm going to say I don't even want you to try us to become a client. The purpose of QBR Cannabinoids was to show you the new standard. Our company, in my opinion, is the new standard. We provide everything that you're supposed to be doing. We do things the way they're supposed to be done. We are not cutting corners to save some initial costs. We view you as a fellow patient, the same way I am. I am a user of cannabis every single day. So the reason I want you to try my products is to discover what the bottom line should be. Because everyone who's tried my products, when they see what else is on the market, they're like, oh, okay, there is a difference. There's a massive difference. Not only just in my branding, because obviously I know what I'm doing there, but that I've done the due diligence to make sure that you're not putting something in your body that is going to make you sick, that you are putting genuine hemp-derived cannabinoids in your system. You're not breaking any laws, you're not making any mistakes, and you're not hurting yourself. And that's what I want to show people. So I'm not here to take over this industry. Things will happen as they're supposed to happen, but I do want to show people how it's supposed to be done. So you try my products and then you go to another person and you're like, well, where's the QR code? Oh, I scanned your QR code. Why isn't it not coming up with a recent COA? Or why does the COA not have a chromatograph on it? Why can I not see where the Delta 8 spike done this? These are all things that you should come to know and learn if you're going to be buying Delta 8 products. And what I want to show you is that they're on all of mine. That way, when you go, and I want you to try other companies. I'm not here to monopolize this market like everyone seems to want to do for some reason. There's plenty of money to be made. I welcome people to go start your own company. Hit me up. I'll help you. I'll give you advice for free. I won't charge you for it. The point is, I want to raise the standard of this industry.
No, I hear you. I think too, like, it's not like I think somebody's going to be using CBD products or just hemp products. They're going to probably have a rotation of different people in there. It's not
and CBD as well, man. It goes the same way. I just saw in one of the blacklist groups a guy that was selling 2,000 milligram CBD tinctures. This guy bought way too much and then kind of started. People were telling him, like, I don't think stuff's working. He got an independent test done. The 2,000 milligram bottles had 12 milligrams of CBD in them.
Damn.
So, like, it can happen anywhere, anyone, anytime. I tell everyone, check mine too for your own sanity. Scan it, read it. I want you to know. I want you to learn what the standardization of this industry is and what you should see on every product that you buy. Doesn't matter what brand or label.
Gotcha. And what's the number one way you've been able to acquire customers for QBR cannabinoids?
I've been blessed to have, it all started with quarantine bond groups, dude. I had a group of over 8,000 people that I had already assembled. And I just basically beta tested QBR cannabinoids on the group and it took off. The biggest problem for me has been actually finding, what would be the word? I can't think of the word right now. Basically, I'm trying to streamline my operation. That's the word. When I started this, dude, it was the Facebook page. You'd message the page. I would send you back this shitty word written menu. Then you tell me what you want. I'd have to add the tax and shipping. Then you would like pay through PayPal or whatever. Then text me the address. You see how asinine it was, right?
Yeah.
It was going nowhere. The biggest hurdle for me has been the streamlining of the process and making things more logistically stable. That's been my biggest problem. The clients haven't been the problem. And on that note, if you are having that problem getting those clients, please talk to me. I provide my services for anybody in the hemp or cannabis space to help you grow. And marketing is key. But another thing I need to say while I'm on that subject, stop hiring these SEO idiots from Facebook groups. They're all a scam. Every single one of them. I can tell you somebody who does this. I'm seeing it all the time. Oh, I pay $1,500 a month and I can't even get a 1% retention rate. That's insane. But at the same time, hemp SEO work is so much harder than anywhere else because you can't just go throw an ad on Google. You can't just go put a Facebook ad up. They're banned on all that. You have to start thinking out of the box. I'll be straight up with y'all. You want a little secret? I run ads on Pornhub. They do great.
Oh, yeah. You're not the only one I interviewed who mentioned they got good results from Pornhub.
Yep. You just have to think outside of the box, buddy.
Of course. And you mentioned too on like the SEO side too, because I have a background in that too. Like hemp keywords are really competitive, and you have to spend you have to invest a lot of money to get great SEO.
Well, I tell everybody, you're better off getting your organic base following through the people that you know than you are dumping money into SEO. You are going to find more starting with an organic circle of the people in your midst and doing it organically, sharing every single fucking post you make 30, 40 times in 30, 40 different hemp groups. I can tell you, I do it every day. Unfortunately, that is your best bet right now for getting that organic following. Because yes, it's a lot harder to get that like, but when you get that like, it's a targeted person that you know is going to actually be interested, as opposed to algorithm likes where you just have 50,000 people and like maybe 1% of that is interested in the actual topic.
Oh yeah, of course. I think if you look at it too, Facebook's first TV ad was during one of the Super Bowls, and it was about groups.
Yep, and it worked because groups have a lot of potential. There's the reason they limit what you can do within groups for that reason. They've seen how much power they're giving you for absolutely nothing.
Yeah, like groups, it's just for any business too. It's a powerful tool. Like a business can create a community of their customers and then they can engage with them there and then offer any special deals there. I'm sure you're doing that with QBR as well.
Oh, of course. So one thing I would recommend to everybody, I attack every city I attack. I find an influencer who's big in the dab scene. I send them a couple grams of QBR cannabinoids. I let them post on their social media, and then I use them as the faucet to let the locals know what shops QBR cannabinoids is in. Yep. So like when I went to Corpus, I have like 4 different ambassadors, and every time I get new shops, I have them post, hey, QBR cannabinoids just went into Half Pipe Scape Shop, or they just went into Good Vibe Scape Shop, or sorry, Hemp Dispensary, Pure, whatever. That you have to start thinking outside the box with this because the traditional method of attack is unavailable as of right now.
Oh, I'm sure. Like I'm thinking this too. Like I think there are going to be other tech platforms coming out that are only going to be hemp centric. Like
so, there's a couple that have tried, but it's just been a lot of wasted time and money. There was one that I knew about last year. I don't know how far it's gone. I actually did some work for these guys. They're called Groji, Groji. Yep. I don't know if it ever actually went live or not. At the time, it wasn't a bad platform. It was basically social media for hemp, but also provided a place where you could look at COAs. You could basically validate each other. So it's not like the hemp blacklist where it's just like someone going, well, he's a bad person. And then they're going, no, he's a bad person. There was supposed to be like a standardization, like kind of like feedback on eBay, you know, like, I had a good experience with this person, +1, or I didn't, -1.
Oh yeah, because I think that's one thing too that industry needs is like some kind of platform where they can do business in an ethical way. It's fair and get stuff done. Like
it's difficult, brother, and I've been in this space for 4 going on 5 years, and we kept saying 4 or 5 years ago, we said all the snakes would be out. We're still trimming the grass every day.
I know, like on the online platform too, if you make it like have buyers connect, like you have to make sure it's like, hey, you provide COAs. You got to have like, it's hard to scope everything out too.
There's so much, and the lack of enforcement in this industry, people just aren't scared to cut corners because there's no repercussions for it.
I know, yeah, because like how they're like, it's like almost anybody can start their own like oil and brand, and then they don't go through the whole getting the COAs, getting the relationships with the farmers, the labs.
Nope, it's just it's the best laid plans that never seem to execute, unfortunately.
Yeah, but somehow, some way, some of these businesses get some traction when they take the shortcuts, and then.
Oh, buddy, you just go to one of those blacklist pages. I recommend it to everybody, and just start scrolling through and see how much he said, she said you get to see.
Yep. And then
you're at the point where you don't know who to believe, and unless you're directly involved, there's no reason there's no way to find out.
No, yeah, it's true. Like you only find out after the transaction's done, then you'll.
Oh yeah. Oh, I believe me, brother. I know it too well, unfortunately.
It's bad. Now it's like, yeah. I mean, like there has to be.
I actually got to start winding this down. I actually have another meeting, not even 20 minutes from now. Is there anything else I can answer for you today?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you too. Like 6 months to a year down the line, where would you like QBR Cannabinoids?
I don't try to set goals in that space because I like to have low expectations, so I'm never disappointed. Mm-hmm. I can tell you not to sound, I don't want to sound cocky, but I do see QBR Cannabinoids being one of the most dominant brands in this space a year from now.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I know it's like you're short on time. It was great having you on. You're more than welcome to be back on if any new developments.
Yes, brother. Oh, I love the group, everything that you're doing, man. We need more of this in the industry. I cannot thank you enough for giving me this opportunity. I will definitely be back for another one.
Yes, sounds good. Thank you again.
All right, brother. I love you to death. You're beautiful inside and out. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, smoke weed.